chemistry. There is a fighting spirit in this team, and Nell Fortner's personality is a great balance, creating a perfect storm.
Knows how to build winners. She's done it at 3 different places in 3 different power conferences as she takes on Dawn Staley, who she coached in the 2000 Olympics in Sydney, Australia. Home whites for the #1 seed in the region, South Carolina. And here is Zia Cook playing the 2-man game with Boston.
South Carolina's not known as a 3-point shooting team, Beth. They're more of a driving team, and you see right away in the man-to-man defense by Georgia Tech, they're not playing up the line or on the line. They're a little bit softer in their cover to protect inside out.
There is a touch and a good look for Boston, off the mark on her first attempt.
But South Carolina is aggressive in their man-to-man defense, and Dawn Staley has put together a team here that is known for being tough to score on.
There's the Capital One starting lineup for Georgia Tech. It also features LOTTA-MAJ LAHTINEN and Kiera Fletcher. Those are the other 2 compliments to Kubai as Georgia Tech gets the first bucket.
I like the strategy early of Nell Fortner trying to get the ball inside to Lorella Kubai.
The Capital One starting lineup for South Carolina. Henderson is the SEC's assist leader, and Cook an all SEC 2-guard. Boston, 2 shots, 2 misses, 1 and done on that trip. That's going to be huge, Debbie, for Georgia Tech against one of the best rebounding teams in the country.
South Carolina plus 15 on the glass, 3rd in the nation in their rebounding margin, and you're going to watch Aaliyah Boston have to play in a crowd. Most teams in the SEC crowd her and make her play with a lot of people around her, making it tough for her to move.
Kubai missed hard off the back iron. There is Cook, isolated on the left side. And now Destiny Henderson got her feet set. 0 for 3 to start here for the Gamecocks. Fletcher, he was their leading scorer a year ago. Senior out of Warren, Michigan. A held ball will stay with Tech.
In that, Destiny Henderson has the quickness.
Look at Dawn Staley. Talked about playing in the Olympics. She will be the coach of the U.S. Olympic team this summer. Would love to carry a little momentum with another national championship into that trip to Tokyo. And the foul on the 6'5" sophomore out of St. Thomas and the Virgin Islands originally before coming to the States.
Well, both these teams are physical teams, Beth. If we got a tight whistle, it's both teams' depth are going to come into play, and that might favor South Carolina.
Guys missed a couple of chippies. Cook pulls up in transition, and there's the first bucket for Carolina.
I think that's a terrific decision in transition by Zia Cook, who's their leading scorer on the season. One of their better 3-point shooters. 37 makes on the season for Cook.
Sophomore out of Toledo, Ohio, who has 5 games this season with 20 points or better. There's the pull-up from LOTTA-MAJ LAHTINEN, the junior out of Finland, who was the most improved player in the ACC this season.
There's an international flavor to Nell Fortner's team. She's got Lorella Kubai, who's on the Italian national team, and then LOTTA-MAJ LAHTINEN is on the Finnish national team.
Cook hits the 3 ball. We were talking to Nell Fortner on the phone the other day. She said, yeah, pretty much a group of All-Americans against our All-World team, because this pretty much entire South Carolina were prep All-Americans before they arrived in Columbia.
They've got 6 players that are McDonald's All-Americans on South Carolina's roster.
Hermosa. They're getting some chances inside, not converting. Beal gets it back to Cook, and that's a couple of triples for Zia.
And that's part of the maturity of Bree Beal right there, because in the younger part of her career, she would have taken that shot, but she recognizes that Cook has already made one, so you get it to the hot hand, potentially. Right? We don't know if she has a hot hand yet, but we think she's getting one.
Yeah, you gotta get out after that second one. Henderson with the blow by, one of the fastest players in the country. And the transition points are coming here for Carolina early. Fletcher goes to the left, and a foul will be called on. That's the second one down. Boston will take a breather here for South Carolina. As LOTTA-MAJ here checks in. Taken away by Georgia Tech. They've got numbers on the break. Kubai trying to get it back to Fletcher. And it's cleaned up on the three ball from the freshman Loyal McQueen. And what a big day for her out of Florence, South Carolina.
Yeah, do you see the bigs? And Lorella Kubai run the floor and fill the lane and get up the court. I mean, this is a better transition team in Georgia Tech than people give them credit for.
Beal to the left off the bounce.
With Bree Beal, it's all about the quality of the catch. She catches it in the middle of the paint. She is a big, strong finisher inside for South Carolina.
Under 10 on the shot clock. Fletcher on the roll on the wild shot underneath by Hermosa. Beal took an extra step, no whistle, and Georgia Tech comes out with it anyway. And on the run, and a terrific leak out by McQueen for the lay-in. She's got 4.
Dawn Staley wants a foul there, but you know what? I love that Coach Staley goes right back to the same set in that matchup with Beal on LOTTA-MAJ LAHTINEN. You get to this level, and there's not a lot of overcoaching going on, right? I mean, you've got something that works, you keep going to it.
Here with the catch underneath. Couldn't put it away, and Fletcher comes out with it, and a chance for Tech to tie it or grab a lead. Lawton, and it's Fletcher out of the short corner. Cook takes the handoff, pulls up in the lane, around and out, and they're going to get Kubai going over the top.
Transition game for Georgia Tech. Up the floor, eyes to the rim. Loyal McQueen, like lightning McQueen to the finish.
The Sweet 16 of the NCAA Women's Basketball Championship on ABC is presented by Capital One. What's in your wallet?
The chicken or the egg? The question isn't which came first. It's which comes with peanut.
Met Dawn Staley, and Dawn said on Nell, players love playing for her. She sees something positive every time down the floor, but if she runs her fingers through the back of her hair, her feathers are ruffled, and I'm sure Dawn would like to see her do that a few times in this game today.
The subtle nuances that the players pick up on the coaches, right? When you know their body language and their temperament so well.
We've got the last 4, right? Olympic coaches here. Nell took it from Tara Vanderveer at Stanford, and then Tara had Gino on her staff as an assistant. And of course, Dawn set to take over this coming summer. The U.S. going for 6 straight gold medals.
Yeah,
Been
impressive.
dominating. One of the great teams in Olympic history. As South Carolina gets a look inside, and it's Bree Beal.
Look at the quality of the catch that South Carolina gets in their action in the middle third of the floor. All their catches are in the paint or inside 16 feet. Except for Zia Cook, who's their best three-point shooter. She's got to have a big game to stretch that defense.
Lawton open in the lane.
Same right there. I mean, you got to make, that's probably one of the easiest shots besides a layup in the game.
Under 2 minutes to go in the quarter, and we'll keep an eye on things on the South Carolina bench. Aaliyah Boston only played the first 4 minutes and then checked out. She's sitting over there on the bench for South Carolina. Usually she plays about 30 minutes a game for the Gamecocks, so they're going with their smaller lineup right now. Corner, Beal, 3. Tipped away, and here comes LOTTA-MAJ with Henderson to beat, and the European steps through for 2.
Little Euro step. Georgia Tech scoring some points in their transition game.
All even at 14, our Sweet 16 matchup. Off the drive and off glass, a knee here. And as soon as we talked about Boston, she got up off the bench. She's getting set to check in at the scorer's table.
Well, I love that set, though, for Dawn Staley, because you get a me here on the elbow. Kubai already has 1 foul. You're really going to challenge her on the defensive end.
LOTTA-MAJ trying to carve up that defense off the bounce. It will be Tech basketball underneath.
Couple of freshmen on the floor for Nell Fortner now, with Loyal McQueen and Lily Love.
Maybe the freshman out of Kansas City. Number 10 on the shot clock again. Mosa. And Amihir's got it. She'll go ahead and start the transition.
4 blue jerseys get back and match up.
See if they look for Boston now down low. It's Henderson off the bounce. It'll end up with Littleton, and she rattles in another 3. So a team that doesn't shoot a ton of them is knocking them down early.
They're getting great ball movement. They're playing inside out. It's exactly what Dawn Staley told us on the Zoom call the other day about how she wanted her team to dissect the Georgia Tech defense.
Average 4 a game. They've already got 3 triples as Fletcher hangs and hits to beat the buzzer to end the first quarter, and a 1960 game Sunday night, 6 Eastern on ESPN. NCAA.com is your home for all 90 NCAA championships. Aaliyah Boston's family looking on. Prior to that, it looked like Georgia head coach Joni Taylor and her family in attendance to support the lone SEC team remaining in the tournament.
Well, her husband Darius was on Dawn Staley's staff before he and Joni tied the knot. Darius works for the Atlanta Dream in the WNBA.
They shared a terrific moment at the SEC championship game this year, head-to-head. The first time that 2 African-American coaches were in the championship game, which South Carolina.
Class personified right there between those 2 women.
Well, it's been great to see in the game, you know, some of the experienced coaches passing on the knowledge. We've talked about that with Muffet McGraw at Notre Dame and Tara Vanderveer at Stanford, and of course Gino and Mulkey and Brenda Fries.
Let's see if they can get Boston a quality catch here. They like that ball reversal into a dribble handoff and then dive her to the block.
Aaliyah has not scored yet. Kubai just the 1 bucket. Amihir with the nice move to the baseline.
That's their advantage, South Carolina. Amihir with that first step is explosive. She's a perfect counter on the floor to what Aaliyah Boston does.
And then she bothered the shot right there of Fletcher. Henderson has Littleton on the wing. And the triple. They have already matched their season average with 4 threes. Timeout Georgia Tech, and all of a sudden they're down. Thank you, Marie. 8:39 to go here in the first half. And thanks to that 7-0 run, it's a 10-point Carolina lead.
Yeah, I hear you, Coach Landers. South Carolina looking every bit like a 1 seed right now. I think Georgia Tech's doing the right thing coming out of this, the timeout. They got to move the ball. They've got to reverse the basketball. They got to get a little deeper into the shot clock and then be able to make a play.
Dubai deadened against the back of the rim, and it falls.
See, that way they get better ball movement, better movement of their of South Carolina's defense, and you want to try to get them into rotation if you can. But you got to make sure if you score, you can get back. It's a lot easier to do that than if you're playing in transition against South Carolina's guards.
Well, and if Carolina's scoring from 5 spots on the floor, that's big trouble for the rest of the field. It's been the others putting up the points. Boston scoreless thus far.
See, not good decisions that time by Henderson, and she's made good decisions with the ball up to this point.
Trying to hide behind Kubai. Lorella gets it to go, so a couple of buckets for her and a personal 5-0 run.
Now that lane to drive doesn't happen if Hermosa isn't working hard to post up.
Terrific out of the timeout, as LaChina referred to it earlier, Tech tough. Not going away, but they lost Bree Beal on the backside.
That's a miscommunication defensively. Kabai looks over at Nell Fortin and says, "My bad, coach." And you know what? Lorella Kabai can do that because she's not coming out. She can make a couple of mistakes.
Gonna play the full 40?
Yeah, well, she could.
They don't have a ton of depth. Their starters play a bunch of minutes. Lahtinen, and Kubai is called for the foul, and that's her second. Check out. 6:39 to go in the quarter. North Carolina has not missed this quarter. They start 4 for 4. Little junior from San Diego. Amihir has been a handful when she's gotten inside the block, and she draws the foul on Boyd.
That's a smart play because she's been
Anywhere, go to ncaa.com for more. They have their 4 Sweet 16 games as well.
A lot of upsets on the men's side. It's been fun to watch.
Could be a big day for Oregon head coach Kelly Graves. So we'll see later on against Louisville. His son Will plays for the Gonzaga men. They are set to tip shortly in their Sweet 16 game against Creighton.
Gonzaga men, 92 points a game. Maryland women, 92 points a game. Later tonight, stick around for that. See if Texas can contain the Maryland transition game. Brenda Fries has done a Coach of the Year kind of job this season.
That is the last game of our quadruple header. We got the overall #1 seed Stanford coming up next here on ABC with Missouri State. Lahtinen out to McQueen. And a third chance for Georgia Tech.
Got the switch that you want.
Lahtinen steps back on Boston.
You know what, Beth? That's why she's a 3-level defender. She can protect the rim and block shots. She can blow up a ball screen, and she can play on the perimeter.
Only player in the country nominated for Player of the Year and Defensive Player of the Year. But she is without a bucket thus far. Lahtinen knocks down the 3. Little chaos in transition, and they lost her. Beal had it stripped. Lahtinen with the defensive play. She'll run with Fletcher.
You got to throw it into Hermosa. She had a me here on her back.
Keene got away with a double dribble, and Lahtinen will hit another bucket. Staley wanted a whistle.
Playing her ball screen, but she also can shoot the 3. That's the 3 levels.
She puts those numbers up across the stat sheet too, doesn't she? She'll get you a handful of assists, a few steals. She'll hit the glass. Nice pass inside and an easy bucket for Saxton.
Cook does such a good job of curling off that screening action, getting into the paint, and then reading that second level. She saw the help step up, she drops it off.
McQueen into Boston and draws the foul. And that will be 2 on Boston. So both bigs with a couple of first half
plays and manage the clock and tempo so that you can put some game pressure on the #1 seed.
Gamecocks have been hardened by the toughest schedule in the country. 3 of their 4 losses were to top 10 opponents. They have 9 wins over ranked teams on the year. And they score again in the lane. Ami here.
This is as good as I've seen South Carolina's offense look in a long time. I think Dawn Staley is calling a terrific game from the bench because she's getting her players shots that they can make. It's the quality of the catch.
Lahtinen with another bucket and another miscue in transition for the Georgia Tech defense. A wide open look for Cook. And Carolina is shooting 70% in the second quarter.
62% outside the three-point line. They've got 5 triples already. That's 15 of their 37.
Lahtinen lost the handle.
Really challenged the defensive effort of Coach Nell Fortner. Sagging man-to-man. You got to guard personnel against South Carolina.
Off the window and down. Saxton again.
That's good defense, Beth. That's just better offense. What a move on the block inside by Saxton.
Both sides showing their depth with their top players in foul trouble here in the first half. The others are getting it done. Carolina matching its biggest lead of the day and now can add to it. Ami here, a collision underneath and an offensive foul.
You know what, Beth? You can almost, you got to make a jump stop off 2 feet off the glass like you've done in practice thousands of times.
Lahtinen has had the hot hand. She's got 13 points on 6 of 9 shooting in the first half. Knocked loose by Little. Lawton will let it go and hits the 3.
She's tough. She is an incredible competitor. This is a great team that has an even balance about them. They don't get too high, they don't get too low. But they finished as the 3rd best team in the ACC this year.
Fortner and her positivity, and it dates back to her very first coaching job here in the state of Texas, the Killeen High School Kangaroos. And in a Ted Lasso moment, the first thing she did when she got the job was paint on the locker room wall, "You gotta believe." And every one of her teams over the years has had that belief that no deficit is too large. We've already seen them overcome a double-digit deficit in the first round of the tournament.
Nobody's been a coach of the year in 3 power leagues like Nell Fortner has been.
At Purdue, at Auburn, and now at Georgia Tech. About a 6-second difference shot and game clock. Henderson, the fade won't go. And now 6.9 for Georgia Tech to work with. Eyes on Lahtinen here. And Henderson will immediately go over and face guard her. So this is Loyal McQueen, the freshman from South Carolina. Got it to go! Launches the off-balance and knocks it down!
How this team can adjust so well on the fly. She said this is a team where she can go in the huddle or make changes and they just pick up on it. Now they've had to make changes in the first half with Aaliyah Boston on the bench and her not scoring, but other players have stepped up. And Dawn said this is a group that if we need to play a different style or go to a different scheme, they can execute, and they did that in the first half.
I thought she's called a good first half, LaChina, from the bench, and now she's got her offense in front of her, and like a good point guard, she doesn't miss much.
Kubai and Boston both only played 12 minutes in the first half, and there is the first basket of the game for Boston as Dawn Staley makes sure she gets a touch right away.
No surprise that you want to get Boston established if you can. And I thought Ami here did a terrific job off the bench, as did Saxton scoring as well, in the absence of Boston giving them a baseline presence.
Of course, your reference to Dawn Staley, a former Olympic point guard for Team USA, and played at the University of Virginia in 3 Final Fours for Debbie Ryan's great Cavalier squads back in the late 80s, early 90s.
Dawn didn't win one as a player, 3 Final Fours, but she did as a coach in 2017.
Led by Asia Wilson, and they just put a beautiful bronze statue outside Colonial Life Arena for Asia this year, as Boston now back-to-back buckets.
It's almost like a luxury, right? You have the lead, your best player hasn't scored, and then you come out and you go back-to-back buckets to start the second half.
Fletcher. Georgia Tech down double digits on a couple of occasions in that first half. They were able to fight back twice and keep things tight.
Well, they play to and through Boston, and when they do that, you can see the results. I wouldn't be surprised if they wouldn't go right back to her again with Kubai Gardner with 2 fouls.
She's bound for it. There's the catch. Basket and a foul, and that's the third on Kubai. And 7 points now in the first 2 minutes for Aaliyah Boston after a scoreless first half. Kubai stays on the floor as they have fallen behind now by 9. Lawton had the hot hand in the first half. She hangs, and Boston has the rebound. Henderson with her head up for Cook. The spin offensive foul. She used that offhand to push Fletcher away.
Here's where you want to have a little bit better offensive maturity. You really don't have an option here that's an uncontested shot. And you've just had Boston, getting 3 consecutive buckets and a free throw. You're doing a great job putting pressure on the front line of Georgia Tech. I'll tell you what, Bree Beal is working off all that screening action. She gets over the top when she needs to. And in a crowd, she's getting under, and there's a switch. Oh, that's a very well-executed play by Georgia Tech.
Lawton into Hermosa. She slipped the screen to score.
Perfect timing, too, because, I just said, Beal, how hard she's working on all that screening action, and then you just pick her off.
Well, and the attention, right, Debbie, is on Lawton, who's leading all scores with 16 points, and Hermosa just snuck out.
And then she rolls to the bucket. And the other side, or the weak side, is busy keeping the help occupied.
Up and in for Beal. McQueen, who had the shot to beat the buzzer to end the first half, because Hermosa tried to back in on Boston, and it's tipped out to Cook.
I would wait, let Aaliyah Boston get to the block.
Maria Hermosa will draw the assignment on her. Cook with the shot. Offensive rebound. And back up and in for Victoria Saxton. Had a career-high 20 points in their opening win against Mercer in the first round. And Carolina has opened up hitting 5 of their first 6 shots of this third quarter.
That's because they're points in the paint. The only shot they missed was a jump shot by Cook.
On an 11-2 run, they're trying to run away from it with Kubai saddled with foul troubles. Lorella tried to crash the boards there. Fletcher keeps it alive, and now Kubai with a touch.
Lawton's got to know that last time Beal went underneath that screen, so she needs to be ready to pull it. Like pull up behind the screen and shoot it.
Kick out, Lawton No. Fletcher is there inside and got it.
That's a terrific weak side rebounder. Very good rebounder for a guard.
He calls out the play from the bench, and Cook now will come to the top. Henderson freed herself on a couple of baseline screens, and they execute to perfection. Fletcher with a nice hesitation move. Again, Staley gets them set up. Cook runs the baseline this time. Boston trying to back in from the short corner. Lahtinen, good help. They force the turnover. Fletcher gets it to go.
They were baiting that help on the baseline side, and Boston saw it but made a bad read. She saw the help coming. She hesitated and waited. I thought she made almost made the right read, but she turned the ball over and gives Georgia Tech an easy 2. That's what you want to do right now, is turn her into a passer. You can't let her just catch it on the block and go to work.
Now Boston directing traffic. See if they can get her set up. Instead, it's underneath for Saxton again. That's a tough basket. Seven different scorers, 34 points in the paint today, Debbie, for South Carolina. Fletcher off the bounce, finds the baseline, no. Good offensive rebound and a pass to nowhere, and Tech turns it over.
Yeah, her motion
inside the Alamo Dome. Our next game, Stanford and Missouri State. Our good friends Ryan Rocco, Rebecca Lobo, and Holly Rowe will have the call on that as we take you through another quadruple day for spots in the Elite Eight. The winner of this one will face the winner of the Maryland-Texas game coming up.
It hurt her leg in the SEC championship and is not available the rest of the tournament. And Ami here is taking advantage of some quality minutes. Impressive performance here against Georgia Tech.
13 points and 4 rebounds for China.
To your point, Debbie, you know, Saxton and Ami here came into this game really needing to be good finishers around the bucket. And Saxton is 4 for 4, Ami here 5 for 6. And that's an important aspect of what both of them do. When they get 2 feet in the paint, being able to finish at a high rate, considering that injury to Lily. And they've done a really nice job of making sure the ball goes in the bucket today.
Well, I like the concentrated effort of China to get the ball into the paint. Every bucket besides the Destiny Henderson 3 in this half has been 2 feet in the paint around the rim.
38 of their 60 points today inside. They have executed the game plan well to play it inside out, and the offensive foul, a charge taken by...
Waiting on that charge.
Good help side defense to get the turnover. Under 2.5 to go in the third quarter. Saxton looked for a teammate and then took it herself.
Overpowering front line. Kubai with 3 fouls, trying to stay on the floor. This has been an impressive second half by Dawn Staley's team.
It has. How about 10 of 11 here in the third quarter? 90% shooting as Boyd gets the answer.
And that's not ever going to be a good recipe for the way South Carolina likes to run their offense. And the discipline that this team has shown, really a lot of these players' first time in the NCAA tournament, because we didn't get it last year, has been really, really good here in their third game in this tournament.
Of course, that was so difficult for everyone to take, but South Carolina was the #1 ranked team in the country when the season came to a halt last year, and the favorites probably with the Oregon Ducks and that great team they had heading into the postseason. Royal McQueen pulls up for the 3, and nobody else was down there to help her.
South Carolina doing a good job recognizing that last defensive possession of zone. Now Georgia Tech back to their man.
Saxton faces up. Lahtinen, 16 points, but all in the first half. Doesn't have a bucket here in the second. Under a minute to go.
Beth, you might think that Georgia Tech would go to zone a little bit earlier because of the points in the paint by South Carolina. As Saxton sends it back.
And Henderson loses a shoe. Carolina playing 4-on-5, and here comes Destiny.
The problem with that strategy of going to zone is that South Carolina shot the three so well in the first half.
Saxton, she's feeling it right now.
One shot, or last shot.
Fletcher, and the foul as Rebeal runs into Boyd. Coming down to Lahtinen. And gets the roll.
Even South Carolina had it scouted and they still were able to execute it and score.
Headed to the fourth quarter for a spot in the Elite. Stanford and Missouri State, and then the night session over on ESPN begins with Louisville and Oregon. You can check it all out on your TV or your app, or whatever device you happen to have handy.
Georgia Tech starts the fourth in the zone. Looks like they're trying to bring a double inside to Boston, but they couldn't get there fast enough. She made her move very quickly, and she caught it deep.
Carolina made 10 of their 14 shots in that third quarter and outscored Georgia Tech 23-15. And let's see if Kubai can relax a little bit and get something going. She's been plagued by foul problems all day. And here she is trying to get a touch, working on Boston.
She needs to get to the offensive glass.
And she turns it over. Henderson, stripped by Lahtinen.
Good hustle by LOTTA-MAJ to get back and set Georgia Tech's defense. They were in the zone last possession. Under the basket, looks like they're back in their man.
Good. Anytime they can get South Carolina to shoot it outside the paint, their chances go up. They've been dominated in the lane, and Cook fouls Lahtinen.
You see how quickly Kubai got the ball up the... Here comes some full court pressure. You want to try to make South Carolina make decisions up the floor like this right here. A turnover. Good strategy and good call by Nell Fortner to change it up.
Fletcher off the bounce.
Got it. To get away with the travel.
May have had an extra step.
Yeah.
James Harden rule in effect. Again.
Look at the swarming Yellow Jackets.
Well played. I'll give you that one, Debbie.
All right, thanks.
Cook for three. Got it.
Georgia Tech really pushing. You want to play the vertical game right now if you're Georgia Tech. North and south.
Kubai's got a touchdown low. Assist Lahtinen.
Yeah, South Carolina is comfortable in their rhythm offensively. Henderson picks it up in the wrong spot. Timeout, South Carolina. They have not handled the pressure well.
Connects her to Sonja Hogan, Kim Mulkey at Baylor. All the U.S. Olympic teams she coached on. As Amihir scores, you're talking about Tara and Gino.
All legends, Hall of Famers. That's quite a list.
Summers around the SEC with Pat and Andy and Van and Sue Gunner. I call her the Kevin Bacon of basketball. Yeah. She's connected to everybody.
Impact and influence by a lot of people. But I love that out-of-bounds play by South Carolina. You know Georgia Tech's going to be up the line overplaying. They go over the top, get behind the defense and score.
And as China Robinson reported earlier, her relationship with Dawn Staley, who she coached in 2000 for the United States. And as an assistant in 1996. Cook with the spin. Georgia Tech has been down by as many as 17 in the game. Trying to stage another epic comeback. Otherwise, the 1 seed will move on in the Hemisphere region.
Well, they're getting close to the point where they can't have any empty possessions, and they need to get to the free throw line.
Kubai missed the layup. Gets the second.
Good dive to the basket, good find. Georgia Tech putting that pressure on after the ball goes through the net. South Carolina doing a much better job of handling it here after the timeout.
Top here with 5 seconds to go. Now gets down into the lane. They try to lob it, and that offensive set was off from the start.
Yeah, a lob pass never comes out like a chest pass. It comes from over the head or off, you know, one pass off a live dribble.
Got it back under 10. And they go back to Kubai.
Trying to get to that left shoulder. Good D by Boston.
Aaliyah held her ground. Henderson the other way, and the bump.
Talked to Bree. She said, I was a scorer in high school, and you know, she said when she got to South Carolina, there were so many players that could score the ball, but she looked around after hitting a wall and said, look, there are some things I can do. I can rebound. I can be a lockdown defender. And she said she had to hit a couple walls before she fully understood that her role was important, but she doesn't want to hit forced shots. She said she wants to let things come to her and just let the game flow.
You know, LaTonya, it's tough for some players when they're All-Americans and they're known as scorers, and then you come here and you're not the first option, maybe not the second, maybe not the third, but you want to find a way to add value so you can help your team win, and she's doing that. Used to be, you know, people said role player, that was a negative. Being a role player is not a negative, it's a positive if you can add value and you accept your role.
All the championship teams have them. They've gone to Kubai the last couple of possessions, and now a tie-up.
Look at that play right there. She is up the line. She turns her head, goes down.
And they are 5 minutes away from a spot in the Elite 8. 3 times in the last 5 years they've been there, including the one road to the national championship in 2017.
Okay, 3-possession game for Georgia Tech. They score on the out of bounds. On their situational offense, they've been good. Now you're making South Carolina make decisions against pressure. And what you're trying to do is take them deeper into the shot clock. Really not a 3-point shooter on the floor except for Henderson.
Boston will try for 3. Or you could hear the Georgia Tech bench yelling, pack it in, pack it in.
I'm not sure I like that shot selection.
Boyd had to change her shot. Good help coming over from Saxton.
Okay, another situational offensive opportunity for Nell Fortner. They're very
kick out to Fletcher, corner 3, and it's good! Georgia Tech makes it a 2-point game, under 4 to go. 2-possession game, excuse me. Henderson on the drive, got it.
so quick off the bounce. Good patience by South Carolina.
Fletcher, short. South Carolina comes away with it.
Zone on makes, man on miss for Georgia Tech.
Hey, baseline, baseline.
Got a foul off the ball. That'll be on Boyd. To the Final Four. Both those games also streaming on the ESPN app.
Georgia Tech only 2 team fouls, Beth. Something to keep your eye on.
Cook hits a three.
They have shot the three exceptionally well. What a great job of moving the ball by South Carolina.
8 of 14 from downtown. One of their best performances of the season out there. Lawton has done a good defensive job on her in the second half. Tubai hits for two. More pressure and more traps coming. Boston.
Leah Boston said, give me a minute to get to the block.
Yeah.
She looks fatigued today, to me.
Hasn't played as many minutes. Shot clock's down to 5. Henderson. Boston. They got a jack.
Not a good possession for South Carolina. You put a little game pressure on them, and that's what Nell Fortner had hoped for. Dawn Staley disappointed in her team's execution.
Nine-point game, under 2 minutes to go. Fletcher got on the baseline and then stepped on it, and they turn it back over.
There's Aaliyah Boston in that second level right there as Fletcher turns the corner, moving her feet, causing that turnover. Got to get some possessions right here for Georgia Tech.
The clock is not their friend. South Carolina fine with letting it bleed down. Trap on Henderson. She's able to dribble out of it and find Boston on the other side. Terrific play by Henderson, keeping that dribble alive and finding the big girl. Timeout, Georgia Tech. And then they also have Fran Beliebe, who has been known to dunk a time or two. That's all coming up next on ABC. Time of the essence here for Georgia Tech. Botman has the shot blocked by Bree Beal. The defense, terrific.
Yep, Beal doing a good job of knowing the scout, fighting through that screening action. Georgia Tech just playing it out here.
And South Carolina into the Elite Eight.
As I mentioned before, this group didn't get to play in the tournament last year. Hungry group for Dawn Staley to have a chance this year.
Fletcher for three. Corralled by Zia Cook. And they can pretty much use just about all the clock now. SEC tournament champions getting set to advance as they knock out Georgia Tech in the Sweet 16. And now we'll get ready to watch Texas and Maryland later tonight to see who they'll face in the Elite Eight. Well-balanced attack, 3 in double figures. Amihir, Cook, and Saxton. And the Gamecocks will move on. (76-65) your final. As Georgia Tech's season comes to an end,